parents didn't have a sense of humor. Well, they did, but no, it is not my given name. My first name was actually Aoife, and Prudence came about years ago. I went to a talk about women in business and being an entrepreneur and everything. And the accountant, it was a woman, and she said, if you only ever use one word with your bank or with your whatever or with your lender, always keep getting the word prudence into the sentences, because banks like to hear this word, because it's conservative, it's sensible, it's organized. So they love this word. So I thought,
magic word.
It's a magic word. And then 20 years later, I was coming up with this. I wanted to come up with a persona, because I'm Irish and my first name is it's not spelled how it's pronounced. So unless you're Irish, people have difficulties with.
We love the Irish and the difficulty they give.
Difficulty for difficult first names. And I thought I wanted to come up with a person who was everything that I'm not. So, she's got great hair, she's got all these things. So I came up with it. I thought, I'll call her Prudence, and then I could get a dog, and I'd call my dog Prudence, and I'm just going to exercise Prudence. So that's kind of how it came about. So we thought she needed a last name.
Yeah. And
my son and I were probably watching a Bond film, and we thought, well, that's it now. Her surname has to be Moneypenny. So that's a long-winded answer as to how it came about. And then that then sort of evolved into my brand, Prudence Moneypenny Coaching. And then I write under that pen name. So she has taken on a bit of a life of her own.
Yes.
And she's got great hair and skinny thighs. So she's all the things.
Yeah. That's why you see so many cartoons of me online. I can't bear people. That's really what I look like. So what does Prudence Moneypenny, otherwise known as Aoife, is that the way to pronounce it?
Yeah.
What do you actually do then? What is your business?
My business is a coaching business. I am, and can I have a drum roll, please? Ireland's first and only, absolutely first and only certified money coach. So I'm also a qualified financial advisor, which is an Irish certification, a member of the Institute of Banking, but that all just sounds really dull. And it is really dull and really boring.
Not with your name, it's not.
I trained with an amazing lady called Deborah Price in California, and she runs a business called the Money Coaching Institute. And it's quite a long, complicated process of understanding what she calls neuroeconomics and neuroplasticity, which is the whole psychology around money. So it's not so much about pounds, shillings, and pence, but it's more about the stories that we tell ourselves, and understanding why we would potentially have limiting beliefs, understanding our beliefs around money. Are they serving us? Are they not? So money coaching is a really interesting process. So because I'm also a financial advisor, there are two sides to my business. So one is the whole mindset around money. So developing a positive money mindset. And then the second half, if somebody wants to do my Delve Deeper program, we really, really look at, all right, where is your money going?
Yeah. Are
you telling it where you wanted to go first, or are you wondering where it went afterwards? And then really looking at where the person's money leaks are, and getting into the specificities of their personal spending plan, and really leveraging where their money is going and making sure that they're getting the most out of it.
Wow. So it's all about money.
So, gosh, yes.
Emotionally and...
Emotionally. If I use, one word when I could use 23. So it is everything to do with money, what goes on in your head, what goes on in your wallet, and what goes on in your bank balance.
Wow. Sounds really fascinating. And why did you decide to go in business for yourself then?
Well, I've been in business for myself, for more years than I'd care to remember. I worked in that high-powered world of shoulder pads and clip-on earrings, and everything disintegrated in 2008. A little bit later in Ireland, kind of 2008, 2009, we were just a little bit, that bit later. And I worked in lending, and I worked in specialist lending, subprime lending, and I still maintain that those areas have a place in business, maybe not subprime, but I still maintain specialist lending still has a place.
Okay.
But it was hideously missold. And not
Don't say that. Someone will come up with a claim.
I know they will.
Lining out now, going, me.
So, I was under huge pressure to sell.
Yeah.
Sell. And I thought, well, actually, can we just stop for a minute and maybe add in a bit of education around this product? No, sell. So I thought, this isn't what I want to do. Yes, I like making a difference in people's lives, but this is not the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that industry disintegrated. I was made redundant. I've always had a side hustle, probably since I was about 17. I just didn't want to go back into that industry. I didn't want to be chasing people down the road, selling them life insurance that they didn't want. So I didn't want to be that person. So I kind of took a bit of a career break to put myself back together again. Worked in research for a while, which I've kind of dipped in and out of. Because I wasn't busy one day, decided to go back and do a master's in technology and education. And then I also wasn't busy that day. And then I did a few other crazy things. So I trained in aromatherapy, massage, and a few other complementary therapies. Actually, because I really like to take a holistic approach to things. So using the principles of holistic therapies, the principles of education, and then also trained then as a money coach and trained as a life and business coach, because I maybe a short attention span. So, and some people drink and smoke
a lot of time by the sounds of it.
So I put together this, I suppose, my signature program, which is using all of the things that I've learned in all of the areas that I've studied in, and coming together and putting something together that is unique to me. I also am a single parent as well, and it was becoming very difficult when my son was in secondary school. It was easier when he was in primary school. Because there isn't, the children aren't moving around quite so much and they stay in one place. And secondary school was becoming quite difficult. He needed me more actually as he got a bit older.
All the last mums who have ever worked are now sympathising with you.
Yeah,
I
thought, it'll get easier now as he gets older. Oh my goodness, he just seemed to be.
You wait till you become a nan, it gets even worse.
So he needed me more, and I just was turning into the employee from hell because I needed to be in 6 other places other than at my desk. So it was I think sometimes, the universe presents you with an opportunity, and it's up to you to take it or continue stressing yourself out.
Absolutely.
So I said, thank you very much. This is the path that I have been granted. And so still, since being self-employed, since maybe kind of 08, 09, it has made such a difference. Certainly it's made such a difference to my life, maybe not always to my bank balance, but you get through it. But everything sorts itself out. So I'm not incurring huge childcare costs. I'm not incurring the costs that I had when I was in employment. I'm not saying that it is for everybody. It works.
It's when you get the balance. Yeah. If you can get that balance, it works really well.
It does work, and it works for me. It really, really does.
And that's all that matters, that it works for you and your family, really.
Yes, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, or this is the way to go, this is not the way to go. It works for me. Good.
So, do you network much? I mean, do you get out and network and tell people what you do, and how do you find that?
I don't, well, yes and no. I used to be a member of Business Network International, which is an American...
The BNI, yeah.
That's right, yeah. And member of the first ever all-female leadership team. And it was great. It's quite an expensive network, but the model works.
Yeah.
If you do everything in the manual, it works.
Okay.
However, not everybody reads the manual cover to cover.
That would be me. I went to the NI meeting.
It's interesting. It's women do, men. It's like, men. Okay, well, you have to plug in this new television because now television you can't just plug it in. You need a degree in engineering. So men take the manual and throw it out the window, and then but women will read things cover to cover. So the networking. I read and I met Ivan Meisner. I was like Kathy Bates, I'm your biggest fan. Walker with all a pile of books for him to sign. So I would use all of those principles. So, turn up early, be on time, talk to people, not network. You don't be Sam slicking around the room, sticking your business card in people's noses before they've even had a sip of coffee and selling. So, don't be that person.
No.
So networking. So I kind of, BNI just didn't really suit anymore either because, I need to be up at some unearthly hour and coping with Sam slicking around the room.
Yeah.
That's not really me. I am a read the manual cover to cover, follow the instructions step by step person. Now, I made amazing connections in that group and I still use those people to do things for me if I need a whatever. So I don't go to networking events anymore because you meet Sam Slick. Now Samantha, you don't meet Samantha Slicks quite so because women I think are quite different. So
we're much better at being slick.
Well, I think it's not
subtle.
It's not quite so intrusive.
Yeah.
You're not kind of business card isn't sort of shoved in your nose and then run away. That's not networking. That's just wasting paper. So I much prefer to just chat to people and I meet people. I prefer to meet people in less formal settings.
Okay.
So talking wherever I am, I'll talk because I can't stop. And then if it comes up in conversation, what do you do, how, whatever, then I will tell them. But it's not my opening statement.
Okay. Have you ever had to do what I call the 60-second sort of super business intro, the elevator pitch as some call it?
Yeah.
How's that been?
I haven't done it in a while, but my 60 seconds would always be something humorous, and because I actually get very nervous, just desperately nervous if I'm about to speak.
Yeah.
I'd always have a prop, and the prop was there to give me something to cling on to for dear life.
What a good idea. There you go, ladies. Think about that. Props are really useful.
The props. So it made, there was an element of intrigue. All right. And I became then, God, what is she going to have today?
Why does she have a stuffed pig on her desk?
It could have been, honestly, you could give me, so I'm quite good at improv. And you know that, like, whose line is it anyway?
Yes. Yeah.
And so you could give me anything and I'd come up with, if you give me like 30 seconds, I'll come up with something. But secretly, deep down, it was because I was so nervous, and I'd still get desperately nervous when I would just cling on to this prop or hide behind it or something, and then it gives you something to do with your hands.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes you just feel like you have 20 hands and they're this huge and you've nowhere to put them. So just have not the clicky pen or not something that's going to annoy people.
Yes, yeah. Your hands can get very distracting. I've worked with lots of people who's either they're windmills or they're playing.
You don't know what to do with them, or they just almost like they don't belong to you, like they belong to.
So they shove them in their pockets and you think, well, they're not interesting because they've got their hands in their pockets.
And then you've no balance and you fall over.
Yeah.
And then
get a prop. I love that idea. Get a prop.
You could get away with things with a prop.
Yeah.
So I remember I brought a water pistol and I had a jar of water. I think I had a jar and a water pistol, and I was talking about jar gun busting. So I mean, anybody can use that.
I love that.
Now, it is proprietary to me, but
yes. That's been trademarked now. I can't go around with water pistols. And if I meet you at a meeting, you've got a water pistol. You miss Moneypenny.
So, I mean, it was kind of naughty, but there was a few people in the room that I just didn't like. And I just really didn't like them. And I squirted them with my water pistol. And you know what? I don't feel guilty.
You're not on the wrong side of this woman.
You can throw things when you have a prop. So you can, if somebody's annoying you or whatever, you can get away with things that you wouldn't normally be able to get away with.
Yeah. I'm going to try this at the next meeting I go to because there are a few people there I don't particularly like.
Those things. Are you a member of BNI?
I joined BNI a couple of years ago when I was first sort of testing the waters, but it really wasn't for me in my area. I think they vary in areas. In my area, it was so male orientated and so you have to do this and you have to do that. It just didn't suit me. So I tend to network now in women's groups more than I do in other groups, like Women in Dorset. You know, there's the WIBM.
Oh yeah,
lots of weird acronyms, and I hate acronyms, but I can't always remember what it means. So
I know, yeah.
But I do enough networking that I can. Otherwise, you become a professional networker. You can spend your whole life going to meetings, just eating.
You could. Yeah, you could. Well, see, you know you're self-employed when you go to events because they have food.
Yes, you can't afford to. I can get 3 in a day. I'm doing okay.
I tell you, that's it. You're sorted. You look like that's a big chunk out of your grocery bill.
Okay, so you talked about nerves when you're speaking. Now, have you ever had to speak in front of quite a large group about what you do?
Yes.
And how did you manage those nerves?
With great difficulty. So coming up with the persona. So I used to be in Toastmasters, and I kind of have dipped in and out.
I'm a Toastmaster. Love Toastmasters.
Toastmasters is brilliant. I joined first 23 and a half years ago.
Wow.
Maybe more. And I joined actually because my son wasn't well, and I would go to meet the consultants or the whatevers, and they'd talk at you.
Yeah.
Not to you at 100 miles an hour, and they'd say, "Do you have any questions?" And I'd squeak, and then they'd be gone.
Yeah.
In a flurry of stethoscopes. So I thought, well, I have no idea what they just said, no clue, and I just felt about an inch tall. So somebody mentioned going to Toastmasters might help me find my voice and find my confidence.
Absolutely.
So I joined, and I've kind of dipped in and out over the last 23 and a half years, and it has helped me hugely. I still get very nervous. But it has.
We all do. I mean, I speak a lot, and I always say, if you're not nervous before you speak, there's something wrong. You're not focused enough.
And I think because being nervous is okay. Barbara Streisand has
great song,
Pavarotti, so it's perfectly fine. But coming up with Prudence Moneypenny, actually, it was almost like stepping into somebody else's body.
Yeah.
So because she's not nervous, she's got great hair, she's got skinny thighs.
Very sassy. You got to look it up later.
Yeah, she's all, she's really confident, and she's all the things that I'm not. So I used a lot of Paul McKenna's.
Can I jump in there and say you just don't let her out?
I like that. So I would use a lot of Paul McKenna's techniques, grounding, and then it was at Canberra, there was this really good TED talk, I think it's Amy Cuddy, and she talks about doing your Superman poses.
Oh, the Superman, yeah.
Yeah, no, preferably do them when nobody's looking, but so what if somebody's looking? So do grounding, breathing, exercises.
Breathing's really good. People always forget to breathe.
To breathe, and then you realise that you're talking, and then you stop mid-sentence because you've turned blue.
Absolutely.
And then what I wear is really important as well. So if I am speaking, I don't wear heels, because I'm a bit like Bambi on stilts at the best of times anyway. But I will wear, and I envy people who can talk and walk and breathe in stilettos.
That is a good one. There should be a school for that. Actually.
A school. So I'd wear either the wedge, long live the wedge heel. So it gives you that, gives you a bit of height, a bit of pep in your step, but you're less likely to go keeling over.
Yeah.
And just wear something that isn't going to kind of poke you or stab you, or wear something that it's not its first outing.
Yeah, it's about being comfortable, isn't it? It's about saying this is, and I think for women, the way we dress sometimes for certain events is about almost putting a uniform on and feeling comfortable in that uniform. Yeah.
I mean, if I could, I'd speak in my pajamas. But it was really just about...
I can only see this lady's head, so she may well be in her pajamas.
I could well be, yes. T-shirt. I could be. So it was... sometimes like if you go for a job interview and you're wearing something that you've never worn before, you're being poked and stabbed and strangled and it's just awful. And you sit down and your skirt is far too short or too long, or
it's itching, and
just dreadful. So just not only be mentally comfortable, but just be physically comfortable. And make sure you've got a drink of water. I like to know the room. Right, is it big, small?
I'm going to bow to this lady, because one of my 6 steps things is know your room, and people don't think to check their rooms out. So
I got stung once at a Toastmasters. It was a speech competition, and where I stood, the light was shining directly on my head, kind of burning my retinas. And it was just awful. And I was so stressed that I just sort of stood there getting sunburn. And it was like that, the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, one side of my face. It was just awful, and my speech bombed. Everything was just
because the whole psychology goes down.
I was so nervous. But what I should have said was, actually, can I just stop? I'm going to move over here and start again. But you're in such a flap.
You can't really do that in competition because you're being timed.
It was just so what? Okay,
you learned the lesson.
You learned the lesson. So know your room. Is the room big, small? Is it, because I'm a very cold person?
Yeah.
So I'm always freezing. So is it going to be warm enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a stage? If there's a stage, then I don't tend to shift around just in case I go whizzing over the edge. Where are the lights? Do I have a glass of water?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have all my stuff. If I'm going to use equipment, I'm usually there like a week before, camped out, to make sure. And, I'll post a night watch to make sure nobody touches the computer, because technology has a nasty habit of not behaving when you want it to behave.
So you all thought I didn't know what I was talking about when I told you about this thing about knowing your audience, know your room, know your technology.
Yeah.
Be comfortable,
If there's people, I think it's called donutting in television, where sometimes you can make a room look bigger or look more crowded than it is. So people are kind of sitting all over the place.
Yeah.
Don't want it to be like a Wimbledon match where you're looking from person to person and whiplash. So just encouraging people to come closer, sit closer together. If necessary, even cordon off some of or take them away, and then people have to sit on top of each other. But if you said you're not giving yourself a neck injury.
No, I think you've got it actually down pat, because nerves are often, they come about the things we think we can't control. Especially with public speaking, you stand up and it's like, are they going to like me? Are they going to hear me? Am I going to remember? And it's all that stuff. So if you can control what you can control, the nerves become less. They don't disappear, but they do get a little less.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, have props, as many props, even if if it turns into a one man stand up, your props, or have something to clutch onto, be it the podium, be it even a clicker for the slideshow, but don't click it. Just have something in your hand makes such a difference.
But not a stick to beat your audience with.
No, or one of those laser pointers and burn everybody's retinas.
And the other thing is, just remember what I always say, it's not about you, it's about your listeners.
Yes, it is, yeah.
You obviously have done really well. So within your coaching, Miss Moneypenny, what other ways do you use your voice to market your business? Do you do webinars? Do you do video, any of that?
No, I'm really camera shy.
You shouldn't be. You're really good on camera.
I could be in my pajamas. So I'm like newsreaders. Newsreaders are wheels from the waist down.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm really, really camera shy, and so I haven't done a webinar again because I just can't seem to get out of my own way. Despite all of my tips about this is how you're confident, sometimes I really need to listen to myself. So I market my business at the moment with Facebook groups. Facebook has been very good to me, and Facebook has brought me customers, which is fantastic. I've got a bit more confident about approaching places that I I think would benefit from my coaching. So I approached an adult education centre recently.
Yeah.
And I approached them with an outline of a course that I have yet to write. And before I realised it, they have suddenly booked me now to deliver my programme to 2 different places. And I thought, oh God.
I always say, don't write a programme till someone's bought it.
Well, I thought, okay, I have 2 choices. I can go into the witness protection programme or I can just flip and do it. And then I thought, Bill Gates was selling Microsoft before he'd even invented it.
I
could be. Bill and I.
With online coaching, yeah.
We could have been separated at birth, Bill and I. I just need to tell him that.
You need to believe that.
I need to believe it. So I thought I have 2 choices. I can crash and burn, or I can just flip and rip off the sticking plaster and just do it. And if it's a disaster, then it's a disaster. The people in the room know less than I do.
Yeah.
So even if I think it's awful, if they just learn one thing, then it's been of use.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And the thing is, the people in the room don't know what it was going to be. So for them, it's not a disaster.
No, it can only be amazing.
Yeah, and it is about the message. So these courses that you are writing down, have you never thought about putting them online?
Well, that's my next step. Yes, absolutely. So the program it'll either be called Fix Your Finances or Manage Your Money, or I was trying to come up with something for wealth, but all I kept thinking of was like Wellingtons and washing machines. So I can't quite come up with nice alliteration around wealth.
Wicked wealth?
Wicked wealth, yes, or wicked washing machine Wellington wealth. So
all the W's.
I'll have to look up a thesaurus. So it'll be, I quite like alliteration. So it'll be something along those lines anyway. So it's a 6-week program, 2 hours per week. And my next step, and I've actually been challenged to do it by the end of the year by this amazing girl called Carrie Cordoza Eek. She's coaching me at the moment. And so she's kind of dared me or sort of challenged me to...
nothing like a good challenge.
Nothing like a good challenge. She has an amazing program. She uses Zippy courses.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I'm looking at Thinkific.
I use Thinkific, yeah.
There's a whole heap of them out there.
There is lots. I use Thinkific because it's just one of the cheaper ones that has everything in it that I needed. So I think
and it's free to start.
Yeah.
Free to get going.
Yeah.
A couple of people that I really like use Thinkific.
Yeah.
So I thought, look, it was good enough for this person to get started for free. And then look, if I like it, I like it, and if I don't, well, so what? So I think there's a whole heap of them out there. I don't think any of them are better or worse. I think
no, not at all. It's what's right for you.
What's right for you.
Budgets,
the best one is the one that you actually use.
Absolutely. I've played with so many of them, honestly. I have what they call shiny magpie syndrome.
Oh, me too.
I go and play, but I usually come back to my old favourites. So what would your advice be to women who are listening to you and thinking, you know what, I've always wanted to work for myself, or I want to start up a business? What advice would you give them?
I would generally say, well, what's your passion?
Yeah.
So, and have a side hustle. So I've always had your side hustle is the thing that I don't know, maybe you have a job, but you don't want to let go of that security. Well, then is there something else that you could do to sort of, to test the waters?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do something maybe that only takes about 2 to 3 hours a week, and just, see it? A book that absolutely changed my life is a book called must be downstairs. Barbara J. Winter, Making a Living Without a Job.
Wow, yeah.
Absolutely super, super, super duper book. So, and it's aimed at women, because I have given it to some guys as a present and they didn't really like it. So if you are sitting on the fence, then I highly recommend that book. She's got a very good newsletter. It's Joyfully Jobless.
Okay.
So it is possible, but I think it through. Get support, get an accountability partner, even if the accountability partner is your dog, but or whatever, or you just with somebody else.
Mine and my 2 dogs, if I work too long, they come in and drag me off to feed them.
That's what I mean. Yeah, Have an accountability partner, and then see what supports are available, maybe from your local enterprise board or from your government, whatever. And so there's a whole heap of free resources out there before you take that plunge and let go of the security of your job. And you may not even have to let go of your job. Maybe it is a way that could you do part-time job share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe your employer, you have an idea that is sort of similar to what you do already.
Yeah.
So could you go to your employer and say, listen, I have this idea, and they go, well, absolutely, that is outstanding. Here is a check for €100,000 because
tell me where this person
we don't want you to leave. So, you know,
I've never had a boss like that. That was more like, let me write you a reference here on the door.
I think there's a whole heap of options. But if you have something, if you do have this, even if it's only doesn't have to be, you know, boiling, it's just a kind of an idea sort of simmering away in the background, just give it a whirl.
Absolutely.
A Facebook page is free. You don't even have to invest in a website. A Facebook page is free. A Facebook group is free. You can trial like Thinkific. I think you can start it out for free.
Yes, you can. Yeah. If you're not taking payments and it's free courses,
it's free. You can stick stuff up on YouTube and see if people like it. So I think, you know, when I was kind of around this, when I was doing this sort of a long time ago, and a lot of these resources didn't exist. So if I was to do it now, I would do things very differently.
Which leads us on to the next question. What one thing in your business did you do that you wished you had not done, and something that you had not done that you wish you had?
I think I would have started with a Facebook page first instead of a domain, because that's free and you can change the name. Because if you register a domain,
that's it.
And with Facebook, you're not wrestling with design. You don't need to be technically competent. You know, you just need to be able to switch on the computer. That's it. And there's a whole heap of advanced stuff you can do, but you don't have to. But you can have a page up in 3.5 minutes. So I would have done that first instead of registering my domain. And what was your question? What would I?
Well, what is the one thing you wish you had done? That's right. What that you wish you had done earlier on that you didn't do?
I think get support earlier, because there's quite a lot of government support. So I got a business mentor for the princely sum of €20 an hour. You know, so those sorts of things, and there are free clinics. And if you're a job seeker, even if you're not a job seeker, you can sometimes sneak into job seeker events, and you get to meet people. Or there are a lot of supports, and free courses are really reasonably priced. You know, when I say reasonably priced, I mean, you know, €10, €20. Start your own business courses, and particularly there's a lot of funding for women wanting to go into business. So even if you never do go into business, and at the end of all of your kind of exploration that you decide maybe this isn't for me, I'd say do your exploration, you know, with people who have done it before.
I could not agree with you more.
Most of give yourself like a year or something. So listen, at the end of this year.
Most women I talk to, one of the things that they say is, I wish I'd got that coach or that support or their accountability partner at the beginning rather than sort of halfway through. And I'm guilty of that as well. I faffed around, you know, for a while before I sort of settled. So it's all right to faff, but faff is someone who knows what they're doing.
I know, conjugate the verb to faff. And, you know, get clear. Sometimes you go, well, I have an idea and then I want to do this, and maybe I could do this, that, and the other. And that's perfectly fine, because the brain is an amazing thing. But write it down, you know, get it out. I can't remember who says it, but it's a little bit vulgar. And I'll use better words. It's like breaking wind. You know, they're better out than in. So it's a little bit vulgar, but it is true. So write it down. If you can't afford a coach, not everybody can. Just jump into a Facebook group and ask somebody.
Absolutely. There's so many groups on. Just don't join too many that you get confused. That's the one thing I would say. I spent a time when I was listening to so many different voices. It was like, oh my God, man, now I'm total overwhelmed.
Too much. Maybe listen to some podcasts, subscribe, and then it's
downloaded. So this one, please, people, this one. Yeah.
Absolutely. But wherever you are, be open and willing to listen. Be open and willing to listen for opportunities. I do believe in the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
So, write it down, get focus, get clarity. And even if that takes you ages and your original idea is nothing, it looks nothing like what you come out with at the other end. Yeah. Apparently that actor who played Martin Platt in Coronation Street is a massive, he's a huge, big cheesemonger now.
That's right, makes cheese, yeah.
Yes, I heard it on the radio yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know what he decided to do when he...
You just have to get on the path. You can't do anything until you step foot on that path. And
just
step forward.
Start your exploration. Only tell people that will support you. So somebody says, oh, where are you going with that idea? Or you're getting ideas from your station. Don't react. Don't punch them in the nose. Don't even think of punching them in the nose.
Get your water pistol.
Get your water pistol. Can people, because not everybody understands what I do, and I think that's down to me not being articulate enough. But my response is to anybody actually who says anything annoying, and be mindful of this, I generally say, isn't that interesting? So what I've done is I've acknowledged what they've said. So I haven't ignored it, because if you ignore it, they just keep saying it. I've acknowledged what they've said, and all I've really said is, it is interesting. So, and then I just say, oh, isn't it a lovely day, or whatever. And it kind of diffuses things without me getting annoyed or upset. And then they don't feel they have to talk at me or justify why they're being rotten to me. So it just diffuses sometimes a negative comment. And I think 99% of people don't actually intend to be negative.
No, they don't. No,
they
come to help a good
place.
Yeah,
even I think maybe 1% of people really are doorknobs, but you just avoid those people. But most people, the comment, even if it does come across as being negative, it is coming from a good place.
Yes, absolutely.
But maybe you don't want to go to that place, so you just say, isn't that interesting, and just
go somewhere else.
Talk about something else, diffuse the conversation, but rather than getting upset or turning it into a confrontation. So surround yourself with people who will support you.
Excellent.
Sometimes family are the last people
definitely sometimes
sometimes, not always. You can be really lucky. But do make sure that you are sharing your goals, but share your goals with people that won't think you're crazy, won't try and talk you out of it, but will really challenge you and push you.
Yeah. So thank you.
Push you out of your comfort zone.
The lovely Prudence Moneypenny here, her advice to you is to surround yourself with people that support you. She could be your wealth wizard or your finance fairy.
Love it.
And you really need to talk to her sometime. So Prudence, or Ether, as you were christened,
yes.
How can people get hold of you? Where can they find you?
You can find me on prudencemoneypenny.com. It is a work in progress, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Absolutely.
prudencemoneypenny.com. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Prudence Moneypenny Coaching, or drop me a line at prudencemoneypenny@gmail.com, and I would love to connect. And if you are connecting with me, please let me know that you heard of me through Beverly Tarrant's podcast.
Discover your voices on now, Bev.
Exactly.
I will put the Facebook details when I put it onto the site, and I'll have all the details there to get hold of her. And let's face it, Prudence Moneypenny is not a name you are going to forget, so just Google it.
Absolutely, yes, I like the finance fairy.
So thank you so much, Prudence, for talking to us, Aoife, for spending your time with us this morning, and it has been wonderful. I think we've learned some great things from you and things to take forward, some really, really good advice. And if I interview a lot more people that advice, I can keep my mouth shut, which will be a difference. So we're going to say goodbye now. And as I say, all the contact details will be there, but do go and connect with her. Go like her page, go and support her. And hopefully, likewise, she may do the same for you if she likes what you do. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.